Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show, and it's time for your reaction video to today's Leeds versus Arsenal press conference with Jesse Marsch. I mean, look, you know I'm not the biggest fan of what's going out on the pitch, but when I listen to him, he does motivate me a little bit, and I'm like, yo, I want you to do well, please. But for me, there's more to that. You need more than that for management, and I'll give you my thoughts on the press conference. But before I do, as is always the case, like the video, get your comments in, subscribe to the channel, and of course hit that notification bell, and let's get into it.
I don't think I do it.
Arsenal started like house on fire.
Signing number 2 for this new era.
It's Judgment Day, people.
Yeah! What did your boy tell you? It was never in doubt. Never in doubt.
Don't believe in any luck, I believe I'm self-made, yeah.
So, folks, let's start with injury updates. So, Leo Hjelde recovering well. Forshaw is 8 days out. Archie Gray is back on the pitch and feeling better. Stuart Dallas will be back soon as well. And Firpo is also fit, ready, raring to go. He did mention, when he mentioned something about Stuart, he mentioned December and said, I'm not sure we can announce it yet, but we have some plans for December and we're surely going to take him with us. I don't know what that means. Obviously, the World Cup's on. Maybe it's a case of taking the players that are there away somewhere. Maybe we'll have some friendlies for match sharpness. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. If you haven't watched it, go back. But he definitely mentioned December and he mentioned announcement. So I reckon we might have some games during that time. Potentially. Maybe they'll be behind closed doors. But he said we will be taking Stuart with us. Wherever that is, I don't know. Now, he was asked on Junior Firpo, is Junior ready to take Pascal's place back? He said no. Categorically no. Struijk is playing too much of a high level and he will stay at left back. I don't know how to take that. He is doing really, really well. I am really proud of Pascal's performances, but he'd be better suited at left centre-back. As much as I love Cooper, we need to see the baton passed on now. I'm with you, okay? I'm with you. Struijk's ready. He's improving game on game. I just hope now that they don't see him as a left-back and therefore don't go out and buy a left-back. You know? He did say we have a 3-game week coming up, so Firpo will be used. Of course, games come thick and fast, some midweek games as well. I think we've got Leicester, haven't we, midweek, Thursday potentially. He was then pushed on Patrick Bamford as well, and he said, look, it's great he's back, and he's getting closer to being 100%. He's looked good in training. We need him to look good in matches as well. Of course, he does in fits and starts, but we need him to find the back of the net. And Jesse did say he is the solution to us scoring goals. He said he needs to get physically better and more up to speed with the tactics. Just minutes in games, basically. And this is why I keep coming back to it. I sound like a broken record. Had we have bought a striker, we could have managed his minutes correctly. And we're going to talk about him being managed a little bit later on. Ledley King 2.0. Remember I said that at the start of the season? It is coming to fruition. My man is getting managed through training. Today, he had what we call a regen day, a down day. He didn't have to train. That's what happened with Ledley. It's not ideal and just further proves the fact that we should have gone out and bought a striker, Andrea. You know, he was then said, look, we're a quarter of way through the season. What are you pleased about? What can you improve on? He says, we play quite well in most matches and we've been in all the games. I guess you could argue for the other side, Jesse's always going to see it from a positive perspective. And I would argue we have been in games, only Brentford aside, but even at that point, we were in the game and it could have been a totally different score on another day. But we need to see it for longer periods than just 25-minute spurts, for me. In terms of what we need to improve, he says we need to score more goals. Keeping the belief in the group and keeping their confidence high is what my job is as a coach. More work needs to be done. What I will say on this is Jesse is a leader of men. I believe this. The way that he speaks, I bet he could make you feel $1 million. Yeah, he's very good at this sort of speak, very much seminars. I imagine him doing seminars, for example, on, you know, sales techniques and stuff. And that's all good when you're winning games. But when we're not, we need to see something more. We need to see something tactically more. For me personally, and we'll talk about him a little bit later on, mentioning plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, and they have all these different options. I believe we're yet to see it, just my opinion. He was asked, what would it mean to beat Arsenal? He said, Arteta is one of the most underrated managers in the league. They are exciting to watch. He did mention that it took time. I said to myself as he said this, do I need to give Jesse more time? I probably do. I probably do. And he did. He was asked a little bit later on about the bosses, how they're supporting him. And he said, look, they support me to the hill. This is the most I've ever felt supported in my career. But he does know it can change, you know. He does know it can change if results don't go your way. But he believes, and his self-belief is amazing. You can hear that, you can see that, and his belief in the team and belief in the players, and I'll come back to it. He will instill massive amounts of confidence in you. I understand that. But sometimes you need a little bit more. But he believes he is the man to do it, to climb us up that table. And I know a lot of fans say the same. Look at Arteta. And it's a decent enough argument to make now. It is a decent enough argument to make. So maybe, you know, I do need to think about the process. Yeah. But he did say it's a massive win for us if we got a result. He called it a monumental task. He said we want to be aggressive at the right moments. We need to be at our best. And it is. I mean, he's bang on the money there, don't we? In order for us to get a result against this Arsenal side, we need to be at 100%. No, you know, unforced errors. We need to be on it from minute one. We can't afford to sleep in this game because we'll get punished. Goes without saying. He did go on to say, my belief in this group is never stronger. I've heard it about 500 times. I hear it all the time. This is what I'm saying. For me now, I want to see it on the pitch more. We haven't won in 5. It's getting a little bit hairy. He was asked what's the main threat from Arsenal. He says, as a unit, they're great. Arteta has introduced a system that's perfect for them. He mentioned the front three and their numbers up there with the best in the league. Jesus, Martinelli and Saka. It scares me. It petrifies me, especially when you consider our defensive frailties at the moment. However, I will have a preview out tomorrow. There's some nice things in there that might give us a little bit of positives. But this is in response to what Jesse's had to say in his presser. He said, it will take full tactical commitment on the day to get a result. And we need the players to execute it 100% on the money. It will be a monumental task. And that is true as well. Like, of course, football game, 90 minutes, anybody can beat anybody. But there are certain levels. And you have to look at this Arsenal side now. And City aside, they are the Dons. They are the Dons. He did say on the last game, Palace, it's the best we have played since he's been here. We are growing and we are moving forward as a group. That 25-minute spell was very, very good. I would argue the Chelsea game's better, but I think a lot of that, maybe not tactically from Jesse's perspective, but we won the game, we won it 3-0. I find it hard to look back at that Palace result because we lost. And for what I seen was an easy tactical tweak by Vieira that wasn't counteracted. But he said, look, we're growing, we're moving forward. Goals for Patrick will come. Cine is so important for us at the weekend, which makes me think Cine's going to start, and rightly so. He was asked who starts because either Patrick or Rodrigo are going to come out. And he mentioned about having an attacking core group. And, you know, depending on the game, we'll switch it up. He bigged up Somerville again, Click, Joffrey as well. He's pushing for a start. But I think, and I don't want to give mine, I think Rodrigo comes out. I think we need to see Cine, Aronson, Harrison and Bamford at the tip. I'll give you my lineup tomorrow in my preview. We might even see a back 5. He might go pragmatism. We'll have to wait and see. He was then asked a question as well about how important is it that the lads don't expect Pat to score all the goals. And Jesse said no one assumes that. And I thought it was a dumb question as well. Of course, Patrick gets brought up a lot because he's the main striker and we need him. Not even so much in terms of goals, of course. That sounds daft. We do need him in terms of goals as well. But he offers us so much stylistically in order to bring others into play and occupying defenders, etc. There's more to it. I thought it was a dumb question. No one at this football club, fans expected, think he's the sole man for the goals because we know Harrison can get them, Aronson, we know Cine can get them, etc. So dumb question. Do your research, mate. Good question from Phil. Very good question from Phil here. He said, did you expect Pat to be out like this? And Jesse said, look, we spoke with the doctors. We knew last season he barely played. We knew we'd have to manage him. I told Pat this. More annoyance for me. More annoyance because they knew what was going on. They knew they were having conversations. This is why Jesse wanted a striker. He can't be battered for that. The board can, though, because the board knew the situation as well. As I said, Ledley King 2.0. The guy had a regen day. You know, regeneration. Get him back. Don't train today. We don't want to risk you. That shouldn't be happening, folks. It shouldn't be happening. We should have had a striker, so then we can manage Patrick's minutes better. But because we rely so much on him at the minute, it's like, oh, just don't train. Do you know what I mean? It's not good enough from the board again. And Jesse's been let down in that respect. Been very much let down. Said that, and we'll continue to say it. And all them people that told me we didn't need a striker, remember this. Because we did. You know, we can't rely on Perkins. Oh, let's not even go there, Joe. You'll just, you know, increase your blood pressure again. You know, talking of blood pressure, Graham Smith said, look, how stressed are you with no wins in 5? He says this job always has stresses. I'm just trying, again, this speak. I'm just trying to help the group at every moment, getting them to believe in the process. And as I said, great motivator, but we do need more. Graham Smith, man, coming with some like hard-hitting questions as well. He said, have you grown? He said, look, the challenge is the highest level I have experienced. He was then asked about the breaks. Do they cause disruption? Fair dues to Jesse, said, that's an excuse. And then said, I have to maximise the opportunity I have. Just that speak. He's really good at that. But it's like a lot of words sometimes with no substance. And I'm aware that I'm being harsh, but the results aren't allowing me to be anything but. He was then asked by Berren about contract extensions. Not into it. That's for Victor. That's for Andrea. I stay away from that. He said, I like to take players on face value, not knowing what's going on behind the scenes. I do like that. Because if you're aware of what's going on with contract situations and players are being difficult in the boardroom, that can then maybe affect your perception of them on the training pitch, etc. Start to come into your psyche. Even subconsciously, that can happen. If you totally remove yourself from that situation, it's just Jack Harrison on that day, isn't it? It's not, well, he's been a bit dodgy, look. He's been, you know, he's cavorting himself elsewhere. You know, so I like that ethos. And again, Jesse being a leader of men, a father figure type, someone that motivates really well, it doesn't then cause complications with that. He's great at that. He's great at that. I don't doubt it. I just think in the Premier League, you maybe need a little bit of extra sauce. And maybe we'll see that. Because if we get a result against Arsenal, then best believe, fickle fan, I'm going, Jesse, Team America. Fuck yeah. You know how it goes, people. You know how it goes. Phil asked him a question about certain plans, and he said, look, them that speak about plan A, plan B, it comes from people who do not know what's required in management. And, you know, I don't. You know, I get that, right? I said the other day that I could put out a team that would challenge Jesse's. That's wrong. I was wrong. It was emotional. I was being stupid. But he did say managers have plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E. Well, for me, let's see it, because I'm yet to see it. I'm definitely yet to see more than a plan B. You know, back 5 last season. I've not seen a C, definitely not seen a D, and 100% haven't seen an E. Definitely not. He was then asked about potential goal scorer in January, because again, we need one. For those that said we don't, why are we still talking about it? Because we do. All the players that we've got can't give us what Patrick's got. He said, look, we do have a meeting in a couple of weeks. It's too early to discuss right now, but we will assess the striking options that we have. But we do have a great young group, and I'm really excited. For me, again, it comes back to use them then. People want Nonto. People want Joffy. People want all these players, and I hear it. I hear it. So let's use them. Let's use them. Because if we continue in this form, and I don't expect us to get a result against Arsenal, but if we continue in this form, something's got to give, something's got to change. And maybe a spark of a youngster like a Nyonto may just give us that. Listen, folks, that was my thoughts on the press conference. Hope you enjoyed it. 9 o'clock tonight, Premier League preview, myself, Corey, Oscar and the gang. Saturday, I'll have the preview for the Arsenal game, and then Sunday will be game day. Thank you as always for watching the Just Joe Football Show. Smash a like on the way out, and I'll see you in a bit. Peace out. Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.